And it seems like if you drop a whole building, it would be a shame not to catch it on video. Welcome back to She's Constructing It, where we dive into project planning and design. This stage really is all about location, location, location. Where the project is located, not just on your property or within the confines of your house or building, but also where it is in geographical terms. Are you in sunny California where it never freezes? Or the frigid winters of 7,000 feet in Wyoming? Do you live in a floodplain or dense trees and high wildfire danger? Are you on a ridgetop with 100-mile-an-hour winds, or in the constant shadow of your neighbor's house with very few hours of natural sunlight? If you're looking into a remodel within a house, now you're into considerations like traffic flow of people, noise concerns, and structural issues such as load-bearing walls and beams. And possibly before all those concerns are the legal ones. Do you live somewhere that has a homeowners association? And if so, what are their rules? And even bigger and more important, do you live somewhere with a building department? Most people do. So what are their codes and regulations for remodels and or new construction? It's hard not to view building inspectors as boogie monsters, faceless individuals bent on making your building life harder or more expensive, probably both. And part of that is true. They will likely demand things or changes that make your life harder and your project more expensive. But they're also looking out not just for your building and your safety, but the next owner of your house and property, as well as your neighbors who could be affected if your house burned down and took theirs with it. I'm also sure there are some circumstances in which building inspectors have been capricious or unreasonable, but I personally don't know of any. And this has been my experience with building inspectors. For simple projects like finishing existing drywall and changing floor tile, you probably have 0 building inspections. For more complicated projects, like doing a full bathroom remodel with new plumbing and new electrical, I had to do 3 inspections in California to prove that everything worked. And for new construction, where you're trying to survive wind, earthquakes, and fire, there's going to be a lot of building inspections. And for good reason. All you have to do is look at some houses in Wyoming where we live with no building inspections. What you find beneath the house will appall and terrify you. What you find in the walls is even scarier, and that's only the parts you see. Not only that, building inspectors are an extra set of eyes. And they have caught places I forgot to finish adding extra screws, or genuinely messed up and wired an outlet backwards, reversing the polarity. They double-checked my work and found honest errors made in haste.
Absolutely. Having a really nice south view where all the big windows are going to be is for our solar passive solar warming.
Right? Yeah, and here, I'm going to come pan this. And so we can show you also, if you ignore some of our building materials stashed, we'll pan around, get a little bit. We're going east. We're going more east.
Getting some east light in there is definitely important as well.
And then the horse trailer will eventually move, as will building materials. And now we're getting tilted, and we're going north. Your design is the easiest place to get stuck in a rut and not adapt and change to conditions as they arise during the project. Trust me, I know this one on a very personal, very expensive, very educational level. Having a good, well-drawn, well-planned, and well-researched design can make all the difference in a project. This is an absolutely excellent reason why you might want to hire an architect during this phase. Also, in many places, your building department may require you to hire an architect, depending on the size or scale of your project. Architects are trained and practiced at construction and building planning. They have brilliant ideas you will not have thought of, and also insight into potential problems. However, I highly suggest if you're going to hire an architect, do your research on them and previous projects they have worked on, as well as coming to that architect having done your own homework. Whether you're going to an architect or tackling planning and design on your own, you should create hand-drawn or computer-generated overview plans and a photo idea book online from something like Houzz or Pinterest. Make your photo library stupidly huge so you can cherry-pick your favorite ideas from each photo. Then create a list of the absolutely most important aspects of the project for you. For me, number 1 would be creating a structure to be as durable and fire-resistant as I can manage. Number 2 would be maximizing the views. And number 3 would be energy efficiency. I would continue on this way until I went through all the really important aspects for me. My list would include strange things like having all light switches in a logical layout. I hate walking through a door into a dark room and not having the first switch near the door to be the main light I want on. Conversely, you should also create a list of things that drive you crazy in your current building or in other places you've lived or worked. Mine would start with small windows and low natural light, followed by any building that easily lets in rodents. I've seen too many partially chewed electrical wires to sleep soundly at night. And any building with lots of hallways or strangely unusable places. I try and run my lists out into the nitty-gritty details of things that have always bothered me, like hearing refrigerator noises from my bedroom at night. If you have a partner, a love of your life, or a family involved in this project, have everyone make their own lists. Let me say that again. Have everyone make their own list. Then sit down and talk about the different lists together. Get everyone to somehow rank exactly how important the most important details are. If Jeff and I had done this in more detail before building our house, we would have saved years of low-level resentment. We got bullied by our HOA, overwhelmed by the short building season for 2 people, buried under layers upon layers of new building techniques we were using, and missed some very essential communication moments. We might have avoided this if we first widened our options. We became trapped by narrowing our choices too quickly, consulted more people and listened carefully to their advice, actually written out and explored at least 10 different ways of tackling our project and listing the merits of each, not become too attached to the building plan once the building site changed and then changed plans according to the new site we were building at, and spent way more time in the planning phase, even if it meant our project was going to be pushed back to season. When it comes to drawing plans and sketches for your structural remodel, try to never do it in the theoretical. Go out onto the landscape and stake out the footprint of your building. If you're in a room, take some blue painter's tape and tape out the footprint, or use cardboard cutouts to represent walls. Print pictures and hold them up in place and squint like you're 6 years old again and can really imagine what a castle looks like in your backyard. This requires imagination, time, and attention. Different times of day and year will reveal very different problems and possibilities. So the more often you can do this before you become attached to your building plans, the better informed you will be. It is also enhanced by experience. So this is where bringing other people out to your building site or into the room can really help you see things with fresh eyes and perspective. Then write draft across whatever you've created in obnoxiously huge and obvious letters. This is to remind yourself to be flexible and change the plans or work on totally new ones as many times as you want. Keep being adaptable as you learn and discover new things, all the way until you finish the project and started remodeling. And mostly, be kind to yourself. Your plans will not be perfect. You might not fully know all the things you want in a building until it's built. In fact, you might not discover what is the most important aspect of your building until you're actually living in it. And maybe then it's too late to change. This is where you have to be kind to yourself. You are learning. It is just a building. Make it a joke, a learning experience, and a damn impressive example of your hard work and thoughtfulness. Blake, can you briefly introduce yourself?
So I am Blake Herbst. I'm the general manager at Bloater Lumber in Lander, Wyoming. Been here for 5 years now, and just working on around the lumberyard.
Cool. And so we worked with Blake when we built and Bloater on our entire house project. So they supplied pretty much everything, including the septic tank. I think the only thing they didn't supply was weld casing and yeah.